ago, I customized a pair of white shoes to look like this. And after wearing them for a long time, they began to look like this. So today, I'm going to customize them once again, but make it so that any scratches or water won't do anything to the shoe. So let's get into it. Before we get started, go and watch that video right there. And then come back and watch this video. The first thing I gotta do is take out the laces of the shoe. Then once you're done with that, go ahead on Amazon and order some acrylic leather paints. Once the paints come into the mail, open them up and get out the paints that you need. Before you start painting your shoes, you want to make sure that there's nothing on your desk, because if there's anything on your desk and you get paint on it that is important, well, that's going to be a big problem. And make sure that there's somewhere where you can keep your paint from spilling anywhere. Once you're ready to paint, open up your bottle, get out your brushes, and start painting. This paint is really thin, and the reason why it is really thin is because it's made for leather. And you want to do a couple coats on it, because the more coats you do, one, it just makes it look better, and two, the more paint will stay on. That means that from all scratches and stuff that you put on this shoe, the more layers you make, the less chance of your shoes getting ruined by just getting the paint scratched off. So that's why you want to put a couple layers. When you want to get into little areas like this, it's good to use a little brush. The reason why you might want to do this is because if you use a big brush, you might get paint over here, and you do not want to get paint over there unless that's what your design is. But if you have an area where you don't want to get paint, make sure to use a small brush, because it works really good. If you follow the tips that I tell you, your shoe will come out amazing. And you don't have to do it, but the reason why I would do it is because the small brush, if you get in an area that is really small to get into and you don't want to get any paint on a different area, it will prevent any paint from getting in another area because the brush is really small. And if you use a big brush, it's going to get in that area that you don't want. Like if I use the big brush over here, I'll get orange over here and I'll get orange down there. But with the small brush, if I gently go, look how clean the line is. And I would strongly recommend this. So if you want to do it, you can, but I would strongly recommend this because it works out really good. When you paint, you do not want to rush, because let's just say there was an area that you didn't want to get paint in, like right here. So let's just say I was rushing really fast. If I rushed so hard that I moved my brush down like this, I'd make an orange line that would go across this, and that would probably mess up the whole entire thing. And that is why you want to take your time with this. And even if you just take your time and you don't even if you rush and you don't make a mistake, you know, it's gonna come out sloppy. That's the thing. The one thing that makes your work actually look good is how you take your time and you don't rush. Because when you rush, your work will come out sloppy and you won't like it, and that's why you should always take your time with painting. And also other stuff, because there's other stuff in the world that you need to take your time with too. So if you have a special project, or you're painting like me, or customizing a shoe like I am, make sure you take your time, because if you don't, it's not going to come out the best. It's going to come out sloppy. So make sure to take your time and not rush. something, you do not want to be in a bad mood. The reason why you don't want to be in a bad mood is because when you paint and you're in a bad mood, your mind is rushing up in your head. And once you paint, if you're rushing and rushing and rushing, you're gonna be like, what's the right word for it? You're gonna be so busy, you're gonna be like brushing really, really hard, and then oops, a mistake happens. Just like if you painted out of the lines. And that's why you want to make sure you're in a nice, calm mood when you paint. When you're done painting one color of your shoe, do not paint the next color yet. You gotta wait for it to dry, because if you were going to paint, like let's just say I was going to paint the red side right here, and if I put my hand over here while I was trying to paint it, or if I was going to put my hand here, you know what happened? I would put my hand on the orange and I would mess up the paint. While you are waiting, go on to Amazon and order some acrylic sealer. This is special because this stuff allows it so that your shoe is like waterproof. Like that means that any water that comes to go to your paint, it will not take the paint off of your shoe. It also helps a little bit when you're running around and your shoe scrapes on the side. It'll also help it from not scratching anymore. So that's why you need to go on Amazon and get some of this acrylic sealer, because we will be needing this in this video. So go on Amazon and order this if you're customizing your shoes. Also, do not leave your brushes out like this, or else the paint on it will dry up and your brushes will get ruined. And make sure to close your paint up. After the paint has dried, you're going to get out the next color of paint and start painting the next color. And make sure there isn't any avocado man in the background, because he will steal your shoe. So make sure there isn't an avocado man by your shoe. Just a quick tip, if you're painting, you're going to want to use the cap, because you do not want to use too much paint on your shoe, because that's a big problem, because then you have nowhere to put your paint. So make sure to use the cap when you're painting. Unless you actually think you could dip that in there and not get a lot of paint on it. And also make sure to mix your paint. So a good tip that you can do is you can take an X-Acto knife and you can scrape off any paint that's over here. So I am about to do that, and if you don't know, this is what it is of what an X-Acto knife is. Once you have finished your shoe, you've done all the layers and everything, take out that acrylic sealer, which is the stuff that is used to make sure it's waterproof, it doesn't have any scratches on it, and open it up, and I'll tell you the rest in just 1 second. Once you've done all the steps, you want to get a place that you can put your shoes on when you spray them with the acrylic sealer. So you can get a cardboard box and go outside, or inside. You can go in like a garage area for inside, or you can go outside, just on your grass or something, on your lawn. But you don't want to do it on a windy day, because it's like spray paint, and you try to spray it in the wind, it just blows away. So you're gonna want to either do it in like a garage area like this, or outside on your lawn. And you don't want to do it anywhere else in your house, because is it will get everywhere, and it's just not a good idea. So make sure to do it outside or in a place like this, like a garage, and make sure to do it on cardboard too, or some kind of material that isn't important, because if you're using, like, for example, you are using, like, what's an example? Using a paper that you need for school or work or whatever your job is, or whatever you're doing, like if you have a test and then you spray paint, or you spray it right over here like that, well, it's gonna get on that paper and it's gonna come out bad on your paper. So that's why you're gonna want to do it on a surface like cardboard, something like that. Or maybe you can do it on paper, but make sure there's something, like if you're doing on paper, make sure you do a couple sheets of paper, because you don't want to get anywhere. But anyways, take it, spray it, wait 15 minutes, and then after you waited 15 minutes, you're going to take it and spray it one more time, and then after that, your shoes will be done. You can put back in the laces right over here, and you can just wear them and show them off to your friends of how cool your shoes are. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video. And make sure to like and subscribe. Peace.